Excited to get this bonus track out. It's a bonus track. This is a bonus track, people. I was blessed to get to go to Sundance Resort. They were holding this Blue Bird Café Singer-Songwriter Festival. And what an unbelievable treat is I got to get up close and personal with the artists Bryce Long, Marshall Altman, and Dylan Altman. Again, they have multiple #1 hit singles on the charts. Why this was such an incredible experience, it's not just performing the song at this concert. It's you get to be intimate look on how the song was written, what it's about, and this heartfelt emotion of each song. But you know what? Enough of me explaining this. Let's get to the bonus track right now. Welcome to the Sundance Resort as they host the Blue Bird Café Experience. For 22 years, the Sundance Resort has been hosting the Blue Bird Café artists. Tonight, it's a special one. We're gonna have Bryce Long, Marshall Altman, and Dylan Altman. Stay tuned as we go backstage to meet the artists. Backstage with Bryce Long. Explain something about Bryce. Over 100 hit songs, man. 100, over, about that. Artists like Garth Brooks, George Strait, Chris Stapleton, Hank Williams Jr., Randy Hoth, Josh Turner, Rebecca Mack. We can just keep going on and on about you if you'd like.
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
#1 singles he has had Heartache on the Dance Floor, Nothing On But the Radio, and Like a Cowboy, which was nominated for a CMA, I believe.
It was.
So let me ask you a question. Besides being a great man, because we've got to know each other quite a bit over these last couple of days, it's been pretty awesome. Where did the passion start for music and songwriting for you?
Oh, man, my dad's side of the family. My grandmother played piano, and I started singing in church when I was a kid, probably 4 or 5 years old. And then, yeah, it was, for us, every time we got together with, any kind of family function on my dad's side, music was always my grandmother, like I said, would play piano, and they would all, he and his brothers and sisters always sang harmony and stuff, a lot of gospel tunes, and then my great uncle played fiddle, my dad played guitar, and they would sing, sing country songs, old country songs, and I just kind of
grew up. So it was in the
with
family, so that you're,
yeah.
Besides at church, and it was in the family, which is, did you know you had music in you at that time? Because obviously you Kentucky farming, but it was always music in the house.
Yeah, and anything we ever did. I mean, I can remember riding. Man, I remember riding on a tractor with my dad, planting, corn or whatever, and there was a guitar on the fender. Radio on the fender of the tractor, and I would hold on to that radio, and it'd be playing music, while he was driving. I'd just be riding while he was planting or doing, farm work.
Is the whole family have music in their blood? I mean, is
well, yeah. I mean, my cousins and stuff, sang, and I mean, we were younger, but I was kind of probably the only one that ever took it serious, and left up there too.
When did you know, like, within you, like, hey, this could actually be a career? Was there a point? Or did someone tell you, hey, you have a gift?
Well, I, sang all the way through high school and stuff, and then when I got out of high school, I started going back and forth to Nashville, and then started playing some fair shows and opening for different artists like Freddie Fender and Razzie Bailey and Sawyer Brown and different, just some different gigs where I could be the opening act for these major label entertainers. Right. And I was actually opening a show in my hometown for Eddie Rabbitt and Alan Jackson, and Clarence Spalding, who was managing Eddie at the time, who went on to manage Brooks and Dunn and Jason Aldean, and now is one of the elite managers in Nashville, and got one of the probably biggest management firms. Clarence saw me after that show. I was 18, I think, and just asked me, if it was something I really wanted to do, and I said yeah, and he said, well, my advice for you is to move to Nashville. You need to get down there, and so it took me a little while yet to do that, but then I finally moved. But he was kind of the guy that talked me into doing it. Really, made me feel like, well, maybe I can make it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great because people have those mentors or coaches or people in their lives
Sure.
that give you that one thing that say, hey, you have a gift. You should
Sure.
pursue it from there. Now you're playing at the Sundance Resort tonight.
I am.
It's the Blue Bird Café kind of experience that they've been hosting
right.
for quite some time. You sing the songs pretty much a lot. Do you still have the same as you sing them? Because we had a show last night.
Sure.
Right? And is it still feel the same when you sing the songs? If even it's the same songs over and over?
Yeah, I mean, and I think we all try to mix in a few different songs, every show, because we write a lot. I mean, we've all written 3,000 or 4,000 songs, I guess, probably in the years that we've been in Nashville, and you try to do something different, at least 1-2 things every night. But people love to hear hit songs and songs that they know they can sing along with, and then. Every now and then you try something new, or you play something that just got cut, or an album cut that maybe never made the radio, and that's just part of it. But I just try to honestly do kind of just whatever I feel like doing. I don't know. I just kind of
You just feed off the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a great show, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good to meet you, Pickles.
It's Pickles in the house. I'm here with Marshall Artman, who's had the great fortune of...
What'd you call me?
We're going to run out of tape.
What'd you call me?
We're going to run out of tape.
This is good B-roll. What'd you call me? Start again.
I'm here with Marshall Altman, who has worked with some unbelievable artists like...
Hi, Dan.
Frankie Ballard.
Eric Pasley, Will Hogue, Matt Nathanson, Natasha Bedingfield,
Amy Grant.
Mark Broussard,
Right.
yes, Trevor Hall,
Josh Abbott Band.
Morgan, Josh Abbott Band, Aaron Watson.
You've done A&R for major labels.
Yes, and now I do A&R for the Network Music Group, yes.
So you do this for a lot of years. We've known each other for a lot of years.
Yes, we have.
You, something I've really never asked you, which is kind of fun to ask you right now. You had many opportunities, not to pursue music and go into something maybe in a whole different thing. What pulled you towards doing music?
If I could have done anything else, I would have. Period. End of story.
It's just, in what way?
If I could have done anything else, I would have. I had other opportunities. There were side roads into some other industries, software engineering.
Right.
Had plenty of opportunities in that space. Music licensing, obviously A&R in a in a more of a major label scenario. But my life has been carved by my love for music. And
where did someone tell you this is it? This is the gift that you have, and pursue it? Was it ever anybody else, or was it you coming up with it, thinking that this is something I can actually do and I love?
There are a lot of people along the way. Obviously, when you make the choice to devote your life to doing something that's as elusive and as financially unpredictable as being a songwriter or a record producer or an artist. But there were moments throughout the course of my life where I had some positive reinforcement that made me believe that this thing I've chosen to do would be possible. Obviously, you are a huge influence. You always encouraged me in my pursuit of music, however frivolous or ill-conceived it was at the time. I think my mom helped me get some music lessons early on. My sister was a huge influence on me. In some ways, I'm still trying to make my sister think I'm cool by pursuing this life of music, and she's been dead for 22 years. But yeah, there are moments along the way where you think you can do it, and then you get a break. And then you think you can do it and you get another break, and maybe you start to make a little bit of money and you believe it's more possible, and then you quit your day job delivering pizza or selling perfume door to door like I used to do, and then you find yourself surviving making music. But then it's about, how do you continue to survive making music? How do you feed a family? How do you hopefully buy a house? How do you save for your kids' retirement funds. How do you know?
So that's funny you said. So you hear artists all the time in acting and comedy and whatever it is that you're always after that one job you're thinking like, what am I going to do now? Do you still have kind of that feeling?
Yeah, I always think that the last record I produce, the latest record I produce will be the last record I produce. Right. Not because I don't want to do it, but because the world of music is a fickle and brutal place.
Right.
And when I'm fortunate enough to get a song recorded, I still believe it might be the very last song I ever wrote that gets recorded. But that's me. I've always functioned better or for worse, when I feel like my back is against the wall. So a lot of times I'm positioning myself so I feel like I have to fight my way out of a corner,
I think
whether that's true or not.
When you're moving towards the fire or away from the fire, people, when their back's against the fire, they move quicker than going towards the fire.
And I think that's it's maybe been a useful tool to motivate me, but I've been very fortunate. I've managed to turn a bit of talent into a lifetime of work, and some of it's just been hard work, a lot of it's been luck, a lot of it's been support, a lot of it's been right place, right time, a lot of it's been staying in the game.
Yeah. Well, we're at Sundance.
We are at Sundance.
Show.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am, and thanks for the questions. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Am I done?
You're done.
All right.
Perfect. We're Dylan Altman now. How about that? Written songs for Jake Owens, Jason Aldean, Tim McGraw, Trace Atkins, Chase Bryant, Eli Young Band, Kenny Wade Shepherd, 3 #1 hits. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So, as you're going to play here at Sundance, for the Blue Bird Café, is it Blue? Did I say Blue?
Bluebird.
I think I did. I said Blue. Blue Bird Café Experience. Getting into music, who do you think your biggest influence was?
Well, early on, I would say the Beatles.
Really?
My family, my dad and mom, and my big sister all had like every Beatle record on vinyl. And when I was 5 years old, I would come home from school, go to my dad's old studio, and play those albums front to back, like Abbey Road, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper.
Were you playing guitar at that time, too?
No, I was just listening. I was just putting them on, and I'd listen, and I'd absorb it. And then when I was 13, it was Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen got me to play guitar because I saw him play guitar and I saw him smiling and grinning on stage and playing like a maniac, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And I never could play like that.
Well, you're pretty damn close, buddy. I'll tell you right now.
But that got me the bug. Like the bug was put into me by seeing those Van Halen clips.
Was it so when you started doing that? Did you know that this is what I want to do?
Yeah.
Right then and there, you
honestly,
picked up the guitar
13.
and
I mean, you're a kid, so
yeah.
You're going through high school and puberty, but I was pretty consistent. Like when I went to college, I applied to one school and got into it. It was Berklee College of Music. I had one goal, and it was to go to that school, and I did, and I graduated, and it's just been everything I've wanted to do since I was a kid.
You've had a great career. That's what you're doing in the writing and playing and being a great musician. It's kind of fun to watch.
Thanks, brother.
Playing Sundance right now from the Blue Bird Café. I love to hear that. So I just actually want to talk about your new passion right now. Your new passion right now is a cooking and music show. Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
And what's it called?
It's called Dylan Altman's Soul Stew.
Soul Stew. You've got to check out Soul Stew. There's no doubt about it. You've had some of the guests that you've had.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Eric Pasley, Guthrie Trapp, Emily West, 2 guys, I can't remember their names, Maury Altman, Marshall,
and
Barry Long.
Barry Long, yeah.
Yeah, Bryce.
And what is it, give us the premise of the
Well,
show.
the premise when I do the introduction each episode is that this is Soul Stew, where we make simple, delicious food, share some laughter, and listen to some great music. Because what it is I'm not a chef, but I'm a really good cook. I've learned to be a good cook over the years. So I can make really good dishes, but they're simple stuff. It's not frou-frou stuff. So I make that, and then we have a conversation, me and the guest, while we eat the meal.
Right.
And I like to sprinkle in comedy throughout, because I was always heavily influenced by comedy growing up.
Right.
And it makes it interesting. It just makes it different than your typical cooking show. And then we end the show playing like 2, sometimes 3 songs with the artists. Usually they play one by themselves, or we play a couple together, and either way, it's all about that artist and their music.
Got it. It's on YouTube. You got to check out Soul Stew. Dylan Altman's Soul Stew. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's it. Hey, go have a great show, man.
All right,
It's been a
brother.
blast. I love you, man.
Love you too.
Well, we didn't write any songs for George. I just wonder if there's any fans. No, I told you earlier, I moved to town a long time ago and wanted a couple things. And one of the things was a record deal. And like I said, I got to live that part of it. But I always wanted a George Strait cut. And I tried and tried and tried like so many. Every year when George would come around to get ready to cut a record, everybody in town would, for 6 months, would be trying to write a song to get on the George Strait record, and every publishing company in town. I mean,
I've written hundreds of bad songs for George.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like one of those things everybody tried to get on, and the only drawback to it was back in the day was that you were really trying to get on one of the 3 remaining spots on the record that Dean Dillon wasn't going to get, if you want to know the truth about it. And, but I had, man, I'd come close so many times. I had songs on hold for him that fell off. I had a song that he cut that he didn't like and didn't make the record, and then lo and behold, now I can say I've had a few. So I'm thankful for that. And I always do this one because this is the very first song that George ever cut of mine and got me the opportunity to actually go down to Texas and write with him. And everybody says, you know, whatever you do, don't meet your heroes because they'll let you down. I can truly tell you that he has been amazing to me, his family, and I've gotten to be really close with his son Bubba, and yeah, he's just, he's everything I hoped he would be, and I'm going to do this song for you that it's called Wish You Well. There's a tangerine sunset reflecting on the wall, reflecting off this bottle in my hand. And when I get to the bottom of it, I've got 5 more in that bucket to get me free as can be, like a breeze off the sugar sand. I was a shadow of myself back on the mainland when you left. Out here I can clear my mind and the wind can fill my sails. One more Tecate and I'll be closer to where I need to be. 6 Mexican beers between. Wish you were here and wish you well. You know them dark
Moments that feel like doors opening and we rush headlong through them and they turn out to be a brick wall, and then there are other doors that open or people open doors for us. This next song I'm going to play is the song that started my career as an artist, as a record producer, as a songwriter. And it's fascinating. It speaks to the support of the people that love you and your belief in yourself. And, you know, my friend Dan is here tonight. Dan Manganiello is here. You might see him running around filming, but we've been friends since high school. One of my dearest friends on the planet, brother.
Pickles.
Pickles, yeah, you see him. He's got a red shirt on. Call him Pickles. Anyway, this song happened because Dan never, I mean, he's relentless, honest to God. He's relentless. This guy used to call me at 6 in the morning, tell me to get out of bed, put my feet on the ground, and get up and have a great day. It didn't matter to him that I was working the swing shift at Trader Joe's and that I'd only gotten home like half an hour before then. And why I answered the phone when I knew it was him calling or just didn't take the phone off the hook, that's a conversation for another day. But we sent out, Dan and I sent out about 1,500 cassette packages to every A&R person in the record business. A&R people are the people that sign artists. And only 2 people called me. The president of Warner Brothers Records and the president of Capitol Records. And strangely enough, the president of Capitol Records called me half an hour before the president of Warner Brothers. This is a weird story. And I told the president of Warner Brothers, well, Bruce Lundvall already bought me a ticket. I'm going to New York, so sorry. I didn't know what to say. And I went to New York, and they put us up in this beautiful hotel. They put me and my guitar player, Tim, up in this beautiful hotel called the Mayflower. And we were supposed to meet with the president of Capitol the next day. And I got in the elevator. It was pretty late at night. And the elevator door opened up. I was going down to the bar, truth be told. And there was an old lady who was in her nightgown, but she had a feather boa around her neck. And you could see that she was, she must have been a beauty queen back in the day. And she was holding a coffee cup. And I said hi, and she said hi. And the door went down, the door opened, the lobby of the Mayflower Hotel, which is on Central Park West in New York, in New York City. It's a very famous hotel. It's no longer there. And the door opens, and I'm a gentleman, so I put my arm out, and she takes my arm, and we go walking through the lobby, and she's got her coffee cup in that hand, and everybody says, "Hey, Sadie, Sadie!" And they're waving at her, and she's doing the parade wave like a glamour queen. We get to the bar, and I say, "May I buy you a drink?" And she says, "Yes, what are you having?" And I said, I want to have 4 double Maker's Marks. And she says, "Me too." And she slams her coffee cup down, and the bartender's like, "Hey, Sadie." He's already got the bottle out. We walk back across the lobby. She's holding her cup. I'm holding my 4 because I've gotten up waiting, bartended enough. I could hold 4 cups, 4 glasses in one hand. Everybody waves to her. We go up in the elevator. I get out. I turn, and I give her a bow, and she curtsies. The elevator door closes, and my guitar players, I walk through the door, and they had us in the suite, and he's playing this. And I swear this whole song fell out in about 15 minutes, and we went and played it for the president of Capitol Records the next day and got a record deal, my first record deal. So that's kind of how it happens. I wouldn't have been there if it weren't for Dan. And, you know, sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, and this is called Sadie. Wherever you are, Sadie, this goes out to you. Sadie is upstairs at the Mayflower, but the bourbon is down at the street. She wakes with a silence of sirens, sleeps to the sound of the meek. Smile, Sadie, smile, my little one. Smile, Sadie, smile, for you know your time is yet to come. Smile, Sadie, smile for the things you still know. From the top of the Mayflower, you can still see the city grow. Upstairs at the Mayflower.
So I grew up a Jersey kid, dreaming of being a rock and roll star. That was my dream. I was going to play Madison Square Garden with my band, and it was going to be, everything was going to work out everything was going to go my way. It didn't. But it worked out, and no, it worked out the right way. That's what it is. It didn't go the way I was dreaming, but it's all worked out all right. So I had this is a Tim McGraw song. Any Tim McGraw fans out there? So this song was cut by Tim McGraw, and it was released as a single in 2003. And I had never heard anybody sing my song on the radio, so this was like a big deal. I couldn't wait to hear somebody singing my song on the radio. So I'm driving around the song's released as a single, and I drove around for about 3 or 4 weeks chasing that damn song on the radio. Could never find it. I would be like, that was Tim McGraw's new single. And I'm like, damn it. So finally, 3 weeks later of driving around, like I kept going, I was married at the time, and I kept telling my ex-wife, I'd be like, I'm just going out to the grocery store. Drive around for 3 hours, could never hear the damn song. Finally, I'm driving my daughter to her Mother's Day out, and she was 3 years old, my beautiful little girl, Isabella. And she's in the back seat, and I'm flipping channels, and sure enough, there it is, there's my song. And I'm in the middle, it's in the middle of the first verse. And I'm like suddenly overwhelmed, like that kid in New Jersey in his bedroom dreaming of this kind of moment. And I'm like, oh man, I wish someone was here to share it with me, right? And he hits the chorus, and wouldn't you know, my 3-year-old daughter starts singing along. Like as if with no idea how big of a moment it was to her old man. Yeah. She's not a very good singer, but she gave it everything she had. Anyway, this one's called Watch the Wind Blow By. With my baby, brown leaves have started falling, leading the way, yeah. I like it best just like this, just doing nothing all the way. So let's lay down in the tall grass, dreaming away, yeah. Come on, boys. All I wanna do is let it be and be with you and watch the wind blow by. All I wanna see is you and me go on forever like the clear blue sky. Slowly, there's only you and I. Yeah, all I wanna do is watch the wind blow by. Yeah.
We got time for one more round, and I told you to wait in the truck. I'm just kidding. Oh man, thank y'all so much for being a great audience to play for, man. Man, it's been a hoot out here, y'all. Such a beautiful place, and you guys are awesome, man. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Chad, for having us out here, and thanks to Josh, the guys running sound, and yeah, this is an amazing place, man, and I love sharing the stage with these two clowns that are up here with me. I do love them. We're like brothers, and
Well, really, only one of us is a clown.
yeah, well, it is true. The one on the end, he truly is a clown. Like, really was a clown.
Professionally.
Just don't tell anybody.
Especially no single women. Don't tell them.
And he's learning ventriloquism.
Don't tell them that. Hi.
We were on a plane. The three of them. We were on a plane.
What are you doing?
We were on a plane flying to play a gig in Chicago. And Marshall was sitting beside me, and Dylan was across the aisle. And Dylan's over there with his neck brace on and his glasses on with a book on ventriloquism. He was reading it.
I'm pretty sure it was called Ventriloquism for Dummies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I actually have a picture of it. If we had a screen, I would put it up on there right now.
And Marshall kind of elbowed me, and he goes, "Hey, man," and he wonders why he's single.
This guy's a catch.
Let me
just say it. This guy's a catch. I'm not sure what
He
kind
is
of
a
catch,
catch.
but he's a catch.
You know, I've had the audience turn on me before, but never my own buddies on me.
Oh, man, you've dealt it out plenty of times, but getting a little back is not going to hurt you. All right, I met a boy from California about 13 years ago. We wrote this song on a bus riding down the road, and he took it to #1. If there's any John Party fans out there, y'all sing along. I was just hanging out some little West Coast town, found a bar up by the sand, so I made my way in. First thing caught my eye, like nothing I'd ever seen. Sunburned auburn hair, a California dream. Yeah, she was shaking them hips, just some everything. So I sang along. She was a heartache on the dance floor, a heartache on the dance floor, moving through my mind, moving through my mind. I gotta know her name, I got to see her again. She got me wondering, yeah, I'm just wondering, where she at, where she at, where she at tonight.
I had the good fortune to produce a scruffy young rascal from South Louisiana named Mark Broussard. Anybody here from Louisiana? All right. So you probably all know old Bruce. I feel like that kid knows everybody in the great state of Louisiana. Anyway, I just started working at Columbia Records, and I've been working with Mark for a long time. I produced his first independent record, which led to him getting his first major label record. And that kid stood up and fought for me, an unknown record producer, to produce his first major label record. And I owe him a lot for that. And that's part of the ecosystem we're a part of. You know, artists believe in their co-writers and their producers, just like you believe in somebody who's gonna have a life that's magnificent. Anyway, I came home one day and there was a FedEx envelope. This is so long ago that there were no MP3s. There was a FedEx envelope with a blank CD in it. And it just said, Marsh, finish this, Bruce, on it. And my wife and I just got married, and we were getting ready to make dinner, and a bag of Trader Joe's lettuce and chicken breast on the George Foreman grill. We'll sit down and watch Jeopardy. That's what we did back in those days. And she said, I know you want to go listen to it, just go listen to it. So I got my Discman. For those of you young enough, like kids, there used to be a thing called a Discman. You put a CD in it. I put the CD in, I put my headphones on, I got my book out, no lines in the book, big book. Picked up the pen and pressed play, and the next thing I know, my wife is walking in the room, and she said, how was the song? And I just sort of, I looked down, and the whole page was full. And we changed one word from that lyric. And this song's called Home, and I hope you all make it home safely tonight. Thank you for inviting us into your home here at Sundance. The boys are gonna help me out with this one. You guys are beautiful. Thank you again to everybody at Sundance, Chad, Mari, Erica at the Blue Bird, the Joshes, the whole crew here. They're awesome. Here we go. We're gonna do this. Rolling down the road, going nowhere, guitar packed in the trunk. Somewhere around my mark of 112, Papa started humming a funk. I got a Jones in my bones before we knew we were singing this melody. Stopped the car, pulled out the guitar, halfway to New Orleans, said, take me home.
Close out with a song. So I grew up in Jersey, right in the middle of the state. Right in the middle of the state, man. There was an hour from the city, which is what we call Manhattan, and an hour from Philly, which obviously was Philadelphia. I got to see Kiss at the Spectrum. Yeah, that's right. So I got to see all these great concerts in Philadelphia, mainly Philly. I go to Spectrum a lot. But I got to see U2 on the Joshua Tree tour. Yeah, that's how old I am. So I was in the audience like 20 yards from the stage, and it was at JFK Stadium, which was a sprawling stadium. It's no longer there. Had like 100,000 people there, right? And U2 starts playing this song. You ready? If you twist and turn away.
This counts as a solo, by the way.
So I turned
Thank
around.
you.
Marshall Altman. So I turned around, and all I could see, which looked like for miles and miles, was an ocean, a sea of lighters. Everybody was holding up lighters, right? So that image stayed in my mind. 22 years later, I'm in a co-write with Eric Pasley and Terry Sawchuk, and I'm telling them that story. And Eric starts strumming this figure, and within 90 minutes, we wrote this song. 4 months later, Jake Owen cut it. 9 months later, it was a big hit for him. And then 9 years later, we found out that it was the biggest song of the last decade on country radio. So please get your lighters out on this one. This one's called Barefoot Blue Jean Night.
Got me in look like a shooting star, so I grabbed a beer and my old guitar, and we sat around till the break of dawn. How
dark in the middle of a rock show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And that's it, 2024, Sundance Resort, Blue Bird Experience. What a night. Hope you enjoyed it.